If your creatinine has been creeping up lately, if your doctor mentioned the words stage 3 or stage 4 CKD, or if you're waking up 2, 3, even 4 times a night to use the bathroom, I need you to stop what you're doing and watch this entire video. Because what I'm about to share with you could genuinely change the direction of your kidney health, and I don't say that lightly. I'm a nephrologist, a kidney specialist, with over 25 years of clinical experience. I've sat across the table from thousands of patients over the age of 60 who were terrified when they saw their lab numbers. And I can tell you, the one thing that almost nobody talks about, not your primary care doctor, not the pamphlets at the clinic, is how powerfully your daily food choices impact your kidneys at the cellular level. Not just what you eat, but how you eat it and when. Now, before we dive in, I want to be very clear about something. I am not going to promise you that these 5 snacks will cure your kidney disease. That would be irresponsible, and frankly, it would be a lie. What I am going to show you, backed by research from the Mayo Clinic, the National Kidney Foundation, and peer-reviewed nephrology journals, is that specific foods, chosen carefully and prepared correctly, can meaningfully support your kidney's natural filtering ability, help manage creatinine levels, reduce inflammation, and ease some of the most uncomfortable symptoms that people with CKD, diabetes, and high blood pressure deal with every single day. And here's the thing that makes this video different from everything else you'll find on YouTube on this topic. At least half of what I'm going to tell you today, I'm willing to bet, you have never heard before. Not from your doctor, not from another video, not from a website. We are going into depth today, so stay with me. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which 5 snacks to reach for, how to prepare them so they actually work for your kidneys and not against them, and the specific mistakes that millions of seniors are making right now that are quietly damaging their kidneys without even realizing it. Let's start with something that might surprise you about how creatinine actually works, because most people have this completely backwards. You see, creatinine is a waste product. It's produced when your muscles break down a substance called creatine, which is used for energy. Your kidneys filter creatinine out of your blood and send it out through your urine. Now, when kidneys are struggling, whether from CKD, diabetes-related damage, or high blood pressure that's been uncontrolled over the years, that filtration slows down. Creatinine builds up, and that's when your lab report starts showing numbers above 1.2, 1.5, 2.0 or higher. But here's what most people don't realize. You can influence how much creatinine your body produces and how efficiently your kidneys filter through specific dietary choices. And that's exactly what these 5 snacks do. Each one works through a different mechanism. Let's get into it. Snack number 1, red grapes. The first snack on our list is one I personally recommend to almost every CKD patient I see, and yet, when I ask patients if they eat them, most say no. Red grapes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Doctor, aren't grapes too sugary? I have diabetes. That is one of the most common concerns I hear, and I want to address it directly, because the answer is more nuanced than you might think. But first, let me tell you why red grapes make this list, and then we'll talk about the portion question. Red grapes contain a powerful compound called resveratrol. You've probably heard of it in the context of red wine, but here's what the wine commercials don't tell you. The resveratrol in whole red grapes is far more bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs and uses it more effectively when it comes from the actual fruit than from alcohol. And alcohol, as you probably know, is something your kidneys do not need more of. Here's the science in plain language. Resveratrol has been shown in multiple studies, including research published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, to reduce oxidative stress in kidney tissue. Oxidative stress is essentially what happens when free radicals, unstable molecules, damage the cells of your kidneys. In CKD patients, this oxidative damage is accelerated, and what resveratrol does is act like a cellular shield. It's an antioxidant, an anti-inflammatory, and it actually helps protect the filtration units of your kidney, called nephrons, from further scarring. But here's the part that most YouTube videos completely skip over. red grapes are also low in potassium compared to many other fruits. Now, for those of you in stage 3 or stage 4 CKD, potassium management is critical. Your kidneys, when they're damaged, struggle to excrete excess potassium, and high potassium can cause dangerous heart rhythm problems. According to the National Kidney Foundation's dietary guidelines, red grapes are one of the kidney-friendlier fruit choices because a standard half-cup serving contains only about 88 milligrams of potassium. Compare that to a banana, which has over 400 milligrams in a single fruit, and you can see why this matters. Now, what about the blood sugar concern? This is important. Half a cup of red grapes, roughly 15 to 20 grapes, contains about 14 grams of carbohydrates. If you're managing type 2 diabetes alongside CKD, which is very common, you absolutely can include red grapes in your diet. But timing and pairing matter enormously. Here is a tip I give my own patients that almost nobody else teaches. Pair your grapes with a small amount of protein, like a few cubes of a low-sodium cheese or half an ounce of unsalted walnuts. The protein slows the absorption of the natural sugars, blunting the blood sugar spike significantly. There's one more thing about red grapes that I find genuinely fascinating, and I want you to hear this. The skin of red grapes contains flavonoids, specifically quercetin and anthocyanins. These compounds have been shown in animal studies and early human trials to reduce proteinuria, which is protein in the urine. Now, if you've been told your urine has protein in it, or if you've noticed your urine looking foamy or bubbly, that is a sign that your kidneys are leaking protein they shouldn't be. It means the filtration barrier is compromised. While we can't claim grapes will reverse this on their own, the anti-inflammatory effect on the kidney's filtration membrane is a genuine area of active research. How to eat them correctly. Eat red grapes fresh, not as juice and not as raisins. Juice removes the fiber and concentrates the sugar. Raisins are extremely high in potassium, about 750 milligrams per quarter cup. Stick to fresh, whole red grapes. Wash them thoroughly. Store them refrigerated. And limit yourself to that half-cup serving, ideally mid-morning or mid-afternoon when you're not eating on an empty stomach. One mistake I see constantly. People switch to green grapes thinking they're the same. They're not, from a resveratrol standpoint. Red and purple grapes have dramatically higher levels of the beneficial polyphenols compared to green grapes. The color is the key. Snack number 2, egg whites. All right, I want to ask you something. Has your doctor ever told you to limit protein because of your kidneys? If so, raise your hand. Or better yet, leave a comment below because I want to hear from you. The answer to this recommendation is yes, and it's complicated. And getting this wrong could either be damaging your kidneys further, or it could be leaving you dangerously undernourished. Let me explain. The second snack, and I use the word snack loosely here because egg whites are incredibly versatile, is cooked egg whites. And here's why they are extraordinary for people with CKD over 60. When your kidneys are damaged, they struggle to process the waste products that come from protein metabolism. One of those waste products is urea, and elevated urea nitrogen, which you'll see on your labs as BUN, or blood urea nitrogen, is a sign your kidneys are being overworked by protein. This is why the old recommendation was to drastically cut all protein. But here's what that approach got wrong. Seniors over 60 are already at significant risk of sarcopenia, which is the medical term for age-related muscle loss. And when you lose muscle mass, you actually produce more creatinine relative to your kidney function, not less. You also become weaker, more prone to falls. Your immune system suffers. The consequences are serious. So we can't just slash all protein. We have to be strategic about the type of protein. Enter egg whites. According to research published in the Journal of Renal Nutrition and confirmed by dietary guidelines from the National Kidney Foundation, egg whites have the highest biological value of any protein food. What that means in plain language is that your body uses a higher percentage of the protein in egg whites with less metabolic waste left over. Less waste means less strain on your kidneys, less BUN. And for people whose creatinine is elevated, reducing BUN simultaneously is important for symptom management. Egg whites are also virtually phosphorus-free in their white portion. This is crucial. People with stage 3 and 4 CKD often have to restrict phosphorus because damaged kidneys can't excrete it efficiently, leading to phosphorus buildup that weakens bones and harms blood vessels. The egg yolk contains the majority of the phosphorus in an egg. The egg white contains almost none, so you get your high-quality, kidney-friendly protein without the phosphorus burden. Now, I want to address nocturia, those frequent nighttime bathroom trips that are disrupting your sleep. This is something most kidney health videos never connect to protein intake, but I will. When you eat high-phosphorus, high-protein foods in the evening, especially animal proteins like red meat, your kidneys are forced to work overtime at night, processing the metabolic load. This contributes to nocturnal urine production. Shifting to a light, egg white-based snack in the early evening rather than a heavy protein source may help reduce the burden on your kidneys during overnight hours. Many of my patients report improvement in sleep quality when they make this switch. It's not a guaranteed fix, but the physiological rationale is sound. Here's how to prepare egg whites for a snack. Scramble 2 egg whites with a tiny amount of olive oil. No added salt. You can add fresh herbs like chives, parsley, or dill for flavor. You can also make a small egg white mug scramble in the microwave, just 2 minutes. Another option is to hard-boil eggs and simply remove and discard the yolks, eating only the whites. If you use carton egg whites, check the label carefully. Some brands add sodium for preservation. Look for products with less than 100 milligrams of sodium per serving, or better yet, crack fresh eggs. The biggest mistake people make with egg whites: eating only one here and there and thinking it's enough. For someone managing CKD with sarcopenia risk, you want about 10 to 15 grams of protein at each eating occasion, which is roughly 3 to 4 egg whites. Work with your dietitian or nephrologist to determine what's right for your specific GFR level, because in very advanced CKD, stage 4 approaching stage 5, protein needs to be managed even more carefully. Before we continue to snacks 3, 4, and 5, and snack 5 is the one that genuinely surprises most people, including some of my colleagues, I want to pause for just a moment. If this information has been helpful to you so far, I need your help. We are working hard to build this channel to 100,000 subscribers so we can reach more seniors across America who are navigating kidney disease, diabetes, and high blood pressure without the right information. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button right now. And if you found value in what we're covering today, smash that like button. It tells YouTube to show this video to more people who need it. Here's what I really want from you though. Drop a comment below. Tell me your age, your location, your most recent creatinine level or GFR, and what symptom is bothering you most. Is it the nighttime bathroom trips? The fatigue? The swelling in your legs? The foamy urine? I read these comments personally, and your responses help me create the exact videos you need next. You are not alone in this, and this community is here to support each other. Now, let's get back to the snacks. We still have 3 more to cover, and the next one involves a food that most doctors tell kidney patients to avoid. But there's a specific preparation method that changes everything. Stay with me. Snack number 3, leached potatoes. I told you this one would surprise you. Potatoes. Yes, potatoes. The food that almost every kidney diet sheet in America tells you to avoid. But here's what those sheets don't tell you. How you prepare a potato changes its potassium content dramatically. And this preparation method is so underutilized, it borders on criminal, because millions of people are unnecessarily depriving themselves of a nutritious, filling, and affordable food. The technique is called leaching, and it was formally recognized and studied by McKenzie and colleagues and has been referenced in dietary guidelines from the National Kidney Foundation for decades. Yet almost nobody outside of specialized renal dietitians knows about it. Here's how it works. Potassium in vegetables is water-soluble. That means it dissolves into water. When you take a potato, peel it, slice it thin, about 1/8 of an inch, and then soak it in a large pot of warm water for at least 4 hours, changing the water midway through. You can reduce the potassium content by 30 to 50%. Then you drain it completely, rinse it thoroughly, and cook it in fresh, unsalted water. This process pulls a significant portion of the potassium out of the potato tissue and into the water, which you discard. Now, can you get the potassium down to zero? No. A leached potato still has potassium in it. This is not a free pass to eat unlimited potatoes, but it transforms a high potassium food into a moderate potassium option that many stage 3 CKD patients can incorporate into a kidney-friendly diet under their nephrologist's guidance. Why does this matter as a snack choice? Because potatoes, particularly when prepared simply, are naturally low in phosphorus and sodium. They provide a gentle source of carbohydrate energy, and critically for seniors, they are easy to chew, easy to digest, and satisfying in a way that rice cakes and celery sticks simply are not. Quality of life on a kidney diet matters. When people feel deprived, they abandon their diet plans entirely, and that's far more damaging to their kidneys than a carefully prepared potato. Here's a practical snack preparation I give my patients. Take 2 small potatoes, peel them, slice them into thin rounds, soak them as I described, then boil them in fresh water without salt. Once cooked, you can mash them lightly with a small drizzle of olive oil and fresh herbs. Rosemary and thyme work wonderfully, and a tiny squeeze of lemon juice for flavor. You can make a batch ahead of time and refrigerate them for up to 3 days. Portion about half a cup as your snack. One critical mistake: do not microwave potatoes thinking it's the same as boiling. It is not. Microwaving does not leach potassium. The potassium stays locked in the tissue when you microwave. You must do the soaking and boiling process for this to work. Also, and this is something I want to emphasize, don't be fooled by sweet potato health claims. Sweet potatoes are extraordinarily high in potassium. One medium sweet potato has over 500 milligrams. Unless leached using the same method, they are not a safer choice than white potatoes for CKD patients, despite what many general nutrition sources say. The kidney diet is different from a general health diet, and conflating the two causes real harm. Snack number 4, cauliflower. Our 4th snack is something I recommend without hesitation to virtually every kidney patient, regardless of their stage of CKD, and that is cauliflower. Raw, roasted, or steamed. This is one of the most kidney-friendly vegetables in existence, and the reasons why go deeper than most people realize. First, the basics. Cauliflower is naturally low in potassium, about 150 milligrams per half cup, which is excellent for CKD management. It's low in phosphorus, it's low in sodium, and it's high in vitamin C and folate, both of which are important because CKD patients frequently become depleted in water-soluble vitamins, especially if they're on dialysis or following very restrictive diets. According to the National Kidney Foundation's dietary recommendations, cauliflower is one of the vegetables explicitly listed as generally safe for CKD patients. But here's where I want to go deeper, because this is the part you won't hear anywhere else. Cauliflower belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, which also includes broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. These vegetables contain a compound called indole-3-carbinol, which is metabolized by your body into a substance called 3,3'-diindolylmethane. We call it DIM in the research world. DIM has been shown in preliminary studies to have protective effects on kidney tissue through its influence on inflammatory pathways, specifically the NF-κB pathway, which is a master regulator of inflammation. In CKD, chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the primary drivers of disease progression. It's one reason why creatinine keeps climbing even when patients feel relatively well. Now, I want to be careful here and not overstate this. The research on DIM and kidney disease specifically is still in early stages. I am not telling you that eating cauliflower will lower your creatinine directly. What I'm saying is that reducing systemic inflammation, and cauliflower contributes to that, is one of the foundational strategies in slowing CKD progression, according to guidelines from both the American Society of Nephrology and the National Kidney Foundation. There's another element here that connects to nocturia and overnight kidney function. Cauliflower is high in choline, an often overlooked nutrient. Choline supports healthy cell membrane structure, including in kidney tubule cells, which are the cells responsible for reabsorbing water and electrolytes during the concentration of urine. When tubule cell function is compromised, the kidney produces more dilute urine, and more of it, contributing to frequent urination, including at night. While the evidence connecting dietary choline to nocturia in CKD is not yet definitive, the mechanistic pathway is biologically plausible and worth considering. How to enjoy cauliflower as a snack. My personal favorite recommendation for patients is what I call the kidney rice method. Take raw cauliflower florets and pulse them briefly in a food processor until they reach a rice-like consistency. Then microwave for 2 to 3 minutes with no water added. You can season it with fresh herbs, parsley, cilantro, dill, a squeeze of lemon, and a small amount of olive oil. It's warm, filling, and genuinely satisfying as a between-meal snack. You can also roast cauliflower florets in the oven at 400 degrees with a light drizzle of olive oil and garlic powder until they're golden and crispy at the edges. This brings out a natural nuttiness that even people who don't love vegetables tend to enjoy. The mistake I see most often with cauliflower. People buy the frozen bags that come with a cheese sauce. Please read the label. Those sauces often contain enormous amounts of sodium and phosphorus additives, both of which are harmful to kidneys. Always choose plain, fresh, or plain frozen cauliflower with no seasoning packets or sauces added. Snack number 5. Macadamia nuts. Now we've reached snack number 5, and this is the one that genuinely surprises people, including, I have to say, some of my physician colleagues who haven't kept up with renal nutrition research. The 5th snack is macadamia nuts. If you've been told to avoid nuts because of kidney disease, let me explain why that blanket advice is outdated, and why macadamia nuts specifically occupy a unique and favorable position in the kidney-friendly food landscape. Most nuts are indeed problematic for CKD patients. Almonds, cashews, peanuts, these are very high in potassium and phosphorus. A 1-ounce serving of almonds, for example, contains about 200 milligrams of potassium and 136 milligrams of phosphorus. For someone in stage 3 or stage 4 CKD, that's a significant hit. Macadamia nuts are different. A 1-ounce serving of macadamia nuts, which is about 10 to 12 nuts, contains only 104 milligrams of potassium and 53 milligrams of phosphorus. Those numbers are dramatically lower than any other common nut. And yet, macadamia nuts are rich in something your kidneys and your cardiovascular system desperately need: monounsaturated fatty acids, specifically oleic acid, which is the same heart-healthy fat found in olive oil. Why does this matter for kidneys? Because CKD and cardiovascular disease are deeply intertwined. The National Kidney Foundation and the American Heart Association both recognize that people with CKD are far more likely to die from a cardiovascular event than from kidney failure itself. The chronic inflammation and oxidative stress that damage kidneys also damage blood vessels. Monounsaturated fats have been shown in clinical studies to reduce LDL cholesterol, reduce systemic inflammation, and improve endothelial function, which is the health of the inner lining of your blood vessels. Healthy blood vessels mean better blood flow to the kidneys, which supports filtration. Here is the insight that almost nobody discusses. There is an emerging area of research looking at the relationship between dietary fat quality and proteinuria, the leakage of protein into urine that causes that foamy appearance. Some studies suggest that diets high in saturated fat worsen proteinuria, while diets richer in monounsaturated and omega-3 fatty acids may have a protective effect on the kidney filtration barrier. The research is not yet definitive enough to make a clinical protocol from, but as a nephrologist who follows the literature closely, it is biologically plausible and directionally consistent. Macadamia nuts are also one of the few satisfying, crunchy snack options for seniors managing both CKD and diabetes. They have a very low glycemic impact, meaning they do not cause blood sugar spikes, which makes them suitable for diabetic CKD patients who are trying to find snacks that don't disrupt their glucose control. How to eat them correctly. Portion control is everything here. 1 ounce, approximately 10 to 12 nuts, is your serving. No more. They are calorie-dense, and while the fats are healthy, excess calories are never beneficial. Buy raw, unsalted macadamia nuts. If you can only find roasted, choose the dry roasted variety with no added oil or salt. Avoid any macadamia nut products with added flavors, caramel coatings, or chocolate. These add sugar, sodium, and phosphorus additives. A practical daily routine I suggest. Keep a small container with your pre-portioned 10 to 12 macadamia nuts in the pantry or your purse. This becomes your afternoon snack. Pair them with 4 or 5 red grapes if your potassium budget allows, and you have a genuinely nourishing, kidney-conscious snack that takes zero preparation. One important warning. Macadamia nuts are toxic to dogs. Keep them well out of reach of any pets in your household. This has nothing to do with human kidney health, but I would feel remiss not mentioning it. Final takeaway. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I want to bring it all together for you in a way that you can actually use when you walk away from this video. Here are your 5 kidney-friendly snacks. Red grapes for their resveratrol and low potassium profile. Egg whites for their high biological value protein with minimal metabolic waste. Leached potatoes, prepared correctly, for a satisfying, moderate potassium option that most people thought was permanently off their plate. Cauliflower for its anti-inflammatory compounds and extraordinary versatility. And macadamia nuts for their heart-kidney protective fats and their unique position as the only truly kidney-safe nut for most CKD patients. Now, I want to say something to you directly, and I want you to really hear this. Living with kidney disease, especially when you're over 60, managing diabetes, managing blood pressure, getting up multiple times a night, worrying about what your next creatinine is going to show, is exhausting and sometimes frightening. I know this not just from 25 years of clinical medicine, but from sitting with patients in exam rooms, from watching families navigate this diagnosis together, from witnessing the fear that comes with a declining GFR. You did not cause this by being careless. Kidney disease at this stage of life is the cumulative result of decades of blood pressure, blood sugar, aging vasculature, inflammation, processes that began long before you had any reason to know they were happening. What you can control, starting today, is what you put in your body, and that is not a small thing. Diet is one of the few levers you actually have your hands on. The Mayo Clinic, the National Kidney Foundation, and decades of nephrology research all affirm that dietary management, alongside your prescribed medications and regular monitoring, is a cornerstone of slowing CKD progression. These 5 snacks are not magic, but they are real food, backed by real science, chosen to work with your kidneys rather than against them. Start with one change, just one. If you change nothing else this week, try replacing your usual afternoon snack with half a cup of fresh red grapes paired with a small portion of egg whites. That one change, made consistently, is more powerful than any supplement being sold online with dramatic promises. And please, please, keep your regular nephrology appointments. Keep getting your labs drawn. Know your numbers. Your GFR, your creatinine, your BUN, your potassium, your phosphorus, your albumin. These numbers tell the story of your kidney health, and you deserve to understand them. Now, I have one final ask for you. If this video helped you today, share it with someone you love who is dealing with kidney disease or diabetes. One share could genuinely change someone's health trajectory. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We are working toward 100,000 subscribers so we can keep creating free, evidence-based kidney health education for American seniors who need it. And leave me a comment. Tell me your age, tell me where you're from, tell me your latest creatinine or GFR, and tell me what topic you most want me to cover next. Your questions drive this channel. I'll be back very soon with our next video. Until then, take care of those kidneys. They are working for you every single minute of every single day. The least we can do is return the favor.